And welcome back to Janky AF and Year of the Aerostar, episode number 44. I like that number 44. And this one will be a case of, we often say, Jay Leno likes to say, and all these VinWiki guys, Ed Bolian, the whole crew there, Tyler Hoover, that a lot of times when you're buying a car, you're buying the story or you're buying the seller's story just as much as you're buying the car. And that will certainly be the case here. A story of love, of heartbreak, and of many things. But we'll get into it. So without further ado, here we have a 1990 Ford Aerostar XLT minivan, listed for just $1,400 in Athens, Georgia. And shout out and Janky do thank you to my good buddy Sticks for passing this one along. We'll get right into it. Two vans, blue one for parts. So right there, here we have, I don't know if we've done one of these yet, but we might do a couple here on this Eastern Seaboard swing we're doing for Solid Snake. And we got a 2-for-1 special. So you're actually purchasing 2 Aerostars in this listing. And that is always a great thing when you can get, 2 for the price of 1, or even just the fact that you're getting 2 Aerostars, a monumental upgrade in your Aerostar fleet. Now, as we'll see, one is a parts vehicle, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can't, nurse it back to life fully on its own, or you can make one really fantastic one and then use that shell of the Aerostar to make, some artwork or something out of. You don't have to just scrap it just to get $400, do something valuable with it. So that is unique. I can remember the first time a 2-for-1 special ever sort of was brought into my consciousness. I believe it was something like 6th or 7th grade, and I was in science class. And a buddy of mine bought a truck, and the sign on the truck, back then it was just on the side of the road. The only way you could get something was on the side of the road unless you found the classifieds or something. But it just said 2 trucks, 1 run, 1 don't. And I thought that was fantastic. And he bought those trucks, and 1 ran and 1 didn't in the past tense, whatever. So about this vehicle, 169,000 miles, automatic transmission, exterior burgundy, interior gray. We've been a lot of doing these we're in the red category here. We had the legendary red interior, and of course this one is the burgundy color. Interior color gray, fuel type gasoline, two owners, and the vehicle is paid off. So let's get into the description, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes of this story. So 2 vans, blue one for parts. Now this is really written amazingly. There's a period, no space, and it says blue, and then a number 1 at the end of it. I can't pick apart every single eccentricity of grammar and language here because it's amazing, but boy, they're dancing to the beat of their own drum with the way they type out these words, and I'm all for it. People, writing 1, the number 1 instead of 1, or not doing correct, quote unquote, correct punctuation, all this stuff. In terms of communication, probably no one communicated more poetically or beautifully than the artist known as Prince. And Prince was notorious for writing like Y-O-U as just U, and 2s and 4s instead of T-W-O, and or T-O and F-O-R. So I always think he's a great example that I cite of someone that was completely unconventional in how they used spelling and grammar, and yet proof is in the pudding, because no one could, play a guitar or sing like Prince. Played any number of instruments, and no one's sort of making fun of him for using language the way he did. So I digress, but I think blue 1 for parts is just fine with me. I understand what's going on. The red one runs and drives and shifts fine. It sat for a while, stored in carport when owner passed on, so the tires dry rotted a bit, but have plenty tread. Inside is clean. Now here we go. They don't jump right into it. They kind of easy on into it. And then this was a family member's retirement splurge. That word, splurging, connotes, excess and opulence. And they used it on an Aerostar, which I find so fascinating. This was a family member's retirement splurge, used for road trips and Sunday drives only. He babied it up until he hit an embankment due to the onset of his heart condition. Also one word, heart condition. ... And that is just so tragic, you know, because as George Harrison said, to use another musician reference here, all things must pass. And just the idea that someone, you know, later in life or in their golden years would, you know, take their retirement and they're going to buy something nice for themselves and they want to buy a car. You know, they want to take it on cruises and Sunday drives. They've always lusted after a nice vehicle. Now, what are you going to buy? You know, the possibilities are endless. You're going to get an old Mustang, or you're going to get, you know, maybe a little MG or something like that, or maybe you're going to get a, you know, an old pickup truck, an old Chevy or a GMC. No, in this case, this fellow bought, or family member, we really don't know, although I think they did use, he, so it's a gentleman, I suppose, bought a Ford Aerostar, a 1990 Ford Aerostar in this beautiful burgundy, and babied it, treated it well, only took it out for Sunday drives and on the weekend. So I just find that so endearing and so lovely, and it shows that despite what you know, the public consensus may have you think, Aerostars were really aspirational vehicles. They were lusted after, and they were prized possessions for many of the people who own them. So I just thought that was nice. Of course, obviously, times got tough. You know, real life happens, and this Aerostar found its way into an embankment, unfortunately. There's cosmetic damage in the front from that one incident. The bumpers are inside the blue van he bought for parts to fix it. So look at that. But never got around to it. So even after this vehicle went into the embankment due to, you know, maybe had some sort of heart condition while driving, another Aerostar was purchased, not giving up, you know, sticking with it. I'll get another Aerostar and I'll fix this one up and make it just as pristine as the day I got it. So I just love that dedication, that perseverance, and, you know, man after my own heart, buying a second Aerostar just to fix another one, or just buying a second Aerostar in general. So just, you know, I'm really, you know, my heart goes out to this family. Obviously there were some tough times, and but I like that, you know, the whole story is told here. You know, just in a simple, you know, marketplace ad for an old van, we get this little nugget, this little, you know, there's so much story going on here. There's so much you know, background to what happened here, and I just want to honor that, you know, so here we are. The bumpers are inside the blue van he bought for parts to fix it, but never got around to it. All caps now. This would make a great family ride for someone looking to trade a compact sedan or coupe for a bigger family ride. Will trade or sell. 2 1990 Ford Aerostar all caps vans, one red and one blue. 169k miles on red. It runs, drives, shifts. Clean gray interior, fully loaded XLT model. Third row seats fold down. Don't know much about the blue one, except it was bought for parts to repair red one. 2 for one price, $1,400. So if you're swinging up the eastern seaboard, or maybe you're in Georgia somewhere, Mr. Sticks, I'm looking at you. Maybe you want to pick these up and, you know, take the first one, get it all fixed up with the bumpers from the second one, and then with the second one, you know, maybe maybe you want to donate that to Janky Painting and go from there. But it certainly looks like in very nice condition. Now, shout out to Specialty Motor Cars. If anyone has not heard of that channel, go check it out. Anthony there, he sells a lot of these old big boats, a lot of the Cadillac Bromes, and he sells some Buicks, and specializes in low mileage, really pristine cars. And he had a really interesting point that the conventional wisdom is you go down to the south to find these really good cars because, you know, there's no rust down there, they're well preserved. But, you know, two sides to everything. The sun has its own sort of way of beating up a vehicle, and you can tell here a lot of these seals seem like they're dry rotted and falling apart, and the sun beats down on cars. It ruins the paint, it ruins all the seals, the gaskets, anything rubber or, you know, painted metal will get sort of beat up by the sun, and it all dries out and cracks and becomes brittle and stuff like that. So he actually prefers northern cars that have just been garaged and maybe only driven in the summertime, because the climate is more conducive to like preserving all those things. So just an interesting little factoid there, something to consider. However, you are not going to have to deal with rust on this vehicle, and that is nice. So the paint job still looks quite vibrant. I see a beautiful, like, not quite pinstripe, but actually body molding running the entire length of this vehicle, which I really, really like. Very similar, actually, to one on my 1982 Fiat X19. And thank you to anybody who watched that video that I just put out. That thing finally starting to make some progress. So this is, I'm guessing, aftermarket, but it certainly looks very nice. And that is combined with a white pinstripe. Looks like a maybe dual or trident pinstripe that runs all along your vehicle. And of course we have this beautiful swooping line where your square becomes round and it ties everything together in this beautiful confluence of triangles, and it's just quite nice. And that runs the entire side of the vehicle. Maybe a slight little dent there and some scraping, probably due to the embankment situation, unfortunately. And both bumpers gone. One funny thing to note, that these tires appear very, very similar. You know, they're not white wall, but they're sort of white face, I guess you would say, or white script. And it's a good style. I'm obsessed with white walls tires. I put white wall tires on everything I can, even vehicles that people, you know, say I shouldn't. But I like the sort of white text tires too. It's a nice look as well. Very kind of a muscle car look. And this is a Daytona Radial SR, and here we have a Cyclone Radial GT. So it's like the next best thing, you know, the closest one you could find. And at a quick glance, you probably wouldn't even notice, but then you have a Daytona and a Cyclone. So that's kind of cool. I do like that. I like the jankiness of it. I like the mismatched of it, but yet, you know, sort of variation on a theme. It still fits together. So I really, really appreciate that. Another very, very similar picture. Okay, here we have the interior. It does look fairly clean, a couple little stains, and this is a nice up-close shot, and you can just see this like heather material that was in these two-tone seats. And of course the red piping looks great on a burgundy car. Gray over red, very, very popular color scheme, but an iconic one, and for good reason. You know, it's a very classic color scheme. Just great seats, and maybe that piping kind of came in more of the upscale XL and XLT models. This being a 1990, of course, you have your giant transmission lever, this being an automatic transmission. Looks like everything is in really good condition, you know, from here anyways. Your plastic molding, your first generation or pre-facelift interior. And again, a lot of this will start to crack and warp, and everything looks pretty tight in here. Now, this being XLT, it does look like you have some extra little buttons here. I don't know exactly what those are. Maybe there is a trip computer up there. It looks like you have power windows and locks. Top of the line. Here's a nice, wow, it's almost, this must be like added by a filter, right? These, very similar to the little star sparkle that they actually did on the Aerostar advertising. So that's kind of cute in there. I do like that very, very much. A nighttime shot. Very, very nice. Looks stunning, and here we have it, looks like before the filter. So, you know, okay, you know, I appreciate the, you know, the forthcomingness of these pictures. You see a very good shot of the damage on it. Now this looks like it's actually not the right grille, because the first grille would run from 86 to 88, and 89 to 91 would be the 3-spoke grille with the Ford logo in the center. So this is an older grille, but it does look like it's been stuffed in there. So maybe they got a replacement grille from another vehicle. Not period accurate technically, but I will say with a pre-facelift interior, it kind of looks perfect to me, and I think it looks great on this burgundy. I don't know when they started making these in red, but I've seen very few like 86 through 88 Aerostars in red. So a red Aerostar with that sort of first iteration of the grille kind of looks special to me in a sort of way. It looks kind of cool. I like it. I like these big wheels, kind of like truck wheels. I'm not sure if those are stock or not. Now, a great feature here, looks like you actually have a manual little equalizer on your radio. I'm guessing that was an XLT feature, and I just love, you know, or not manual, I should call it a, what's the opposite of digital there, John? Oh, geez, now I'm really going to get thrown for a loop here. Dead air here on Year of the Aerostar while I stubbornly try to think of, looks like maybe this is cruise control down there. Analog equalizer or graphic equalizer, I guess you would say. So that's very, very cool. Again, I love this huge shift lever. This is, to me, I want to know, but this has to be one of the largest factory produced automatic shift levers ever on any consumer passenger vehicle. I mean, it's so tall, and this button, going all the way down to that linkage, it's just really hilarious to me. It's almost looks like they took the manual transmission or automatic transmission out of like a Ford Tempo, and then they had to like take 3 stalks and combine them all together with the shift lever. But very, very funny. I've never driven one of these automatic transmissions from this pre-facelift interior before it was column mounted, so I'd be curious to see what that actually feels like. I bet it's quite a fun throw. Okay, your exterior, a little blurry, but that's okay. Again, your beautiful 5-spoke grille here with your burgundy exterior. And here we have the blue one. Now, I wish we had some more shots of this because it is a very striking, the silver on blue is pretty common, but I don't remember the blue looking so metallic. It really kind of looks special here. And the silver also. Again, the paint seems to be quite well preserved. This also presumably in 1990, as they say in the description. Can't glean much from this, but obviously your bumpers are intact. I wish we had some more pictures of the blue one, but that's all right. We see evidence that there is a second Aerostar, and this is indeed a 2-for-1. Red, white, and blue, or red, silver, and blue. And here we go, back at the beginning. So I just thought that was special. It's kind of a nice story that this old fella, wants to splurge and buy himself something nice in his later years. And, even though it kind of ended on a sad note and now they're selling them, thank goodness they bought it when they did. And hopefully they got quite a few nice years out of this and babying it, taking care of it, and just enjoying it for what it was, which is a beautiful, beautiful spaceship on wheels, 1990 Ford Aerostar XLT, listed in Athens, Georgia. So I thought that was a nice one, a little story time here on You're the Aerostar Janky AF, and I hope whoever buys this respects how well it was cared for and how well it was liked and loved, and continues on with that and gives it sort of the respect and deference that it deserves as a beautiful Ford Aerostar in the collection of can I combine Aerostar and aristocrat? Aerostarocratic brethren and sisters out there. So, rambling a bit here. We'll wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us here on Year of the Aerostar. And we'll see you very soon. And until then, Janky do Thanky.